Hello everybody and welcome to the lecture on the final unification algorithm. A lecture in the course of Introduction to Artificial Intelligence for Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering students of the 8th semester. In the last video lecture, we tried to understand the individual steps of unification algorithm. In today's lecture, we will try to build the final unification algorithm. But before we go ahead with the algorithm, I'd like to explore another example of unification which we need to incorporate into the algorithm. So in that sense, our algorithm is not yet fully ready. The unification algorithm is designed to return a list as a composition of substitutions that were performed during the unification process. Consider an example where the following predicates have to be unified: f of x comma x and f of g of x comma g of x. So pause the video for a minute or two and think about what steps the algorithm would follow or should follow according to your understanding. Yes, the two complete predicates would be sent for unification. The predicate symbols f match. The number of arguments 2 matches. Then we send the two argument pairs x and g of x for unification. So if L1 or L2 are both variables or constants, we realize that x is a variable. So we enter the true part of if. So firstly, the argument pair is not identical. Secondly, x is a variable. Now that means there should be a substitution g of x for x. So s will now be g of x for x. Now s is a substitution that firstly needs to be made throughout all the remaining argument pairs. That means the result will be f of g of x comma g of x and f of g of x comma g of x. The substitution has replaced x with g of x. We need not go further to understand what is wrong with this. The main motive of substitution is to replace the variable entirely with the other variable or the other constant to eliminate that variable, x in this case. But the other argument is a function of the variable. Obviously, x will never get eliminated after such a replacement. Instead, it will lead to an infinite recursion. The simple thing that we do in order to avoid this scenario is to keep a check just before the substitution. Does a variable occur in the other argument, like x in g of x in this case? Does L1 occur in L2? Does L2 occur in L1? If yes, then the algorithm must fail. If not, then create the substitution. I hope this tiny but extremely important addition to the algorithm is clearly understood. Should we go ahead and accommodate this change in the steps that we wrote for algorithm check? If L1 and L2 are both variables or constant, then A. If L1 and L2 are identical, then return nil. Else, if L1 is a variable, then if L1 occurs in L2, then return fail. Else return L2 for L1. Else if L2 is a variable, then if L2 occurs in L1, then return fail. Else return L1 for L2. D. Else return fail. Now let us build the algorithm properly with the correct flow according to our understanding successively. First, the header of the algorithm. Algorithm unify L1, L2. Then checking the predicate symbol and the number of arguments in L1 and L2. Then initializing an empty list. And then the header for the for loop to unify the argument pair. Now we must write the code where each argument pair is sent for unification using recursion. The ith argument of L1 and the ith argument of L2 as L1 and L2 itself is sent to the unification algorithm. Call unify with the ith argument of L1 and the ith argument of L2, putting the result in S. As a result of this, the unification should occur and a substitution list should be returned. And that substitution list should get stored into a variable S. Now we assess S and take appropriate action. If S is fail, then return fail. If S is not equal to nil, then apply that substitution S to the remainder of both L1 and L2. After that, SUBST becomes equal to S appended by SUBST. And this new SUBST is to be returned. The only part that is left to be used in this algorithm is the recursive call unify L, L2, where L1 and L2 are the arguments, the argument pair. So when we make this call, we don't want it to go through the predicate symbol check, the number of argument check, etc. Those checks are already done for the entire literals, entire predicates. Also, they are not applicable to argument pairs. So, as a solution, we place this piece of code right at the beginning of the algorithm as the first step, like this. That means now the unification algorithm will first check if the inputs are variables or constants. If they are, substitution list will be returned by the end of first step only. The second step will be encountered only if the inputs to the algorithm are complete predicates. Let us see if this works with our example of like x, y and like John, Spot. We first call unify like x, y, like John, Spot. L1 is like x, y and L2 is like John, Spot. First step, L1 and L2 are not variables or constants. So, we move to the next step. The initial predicate symbols in L1 and L2 are identical. So, we go to the next step. L1 and L2 have the same number of arguments. We move to the next step. We initialize SUBST to nil and then go to the next step. We set up a for loop that is initialized to 1 and will run till the number of arguments in L1, that is 2. So I will take two values, 1 and 2. First, we call the unify algorithm with the first argument, unify x, John. Now L1 is x and L2 is John. One is a variable and the other is a constant. So we can enter that if section. L1 and L2 are not identical. We go to the next step. L1, that is x, is a variable and L2 is a constant, John, and it is not a function of x. So we return the substitution John for x. we return to the place where this algorithm was called last. That's the first step of the for loop. The returned substitution is caught in S. Now S has John for X. Next step, S does not contain fail, so we move to the next step. S is not equal to nil, so we enter the true section of if. We search in the second argument of L1 and L2 if there is an X for substitution as John. We don't have any. If there was, we would have substituted. Now we move to the next step, creating a new SUBST as SUBST appended to S. Right now SUBST does not have anything, so SUBST becomes equal to S, which is John for X. All the steps in the for loop are over. We increment I to 2 and call unify with second arguments of L1 and L2. That means unify y comma spot. Now L1 is y, L2 is spot. Again, one is a variable, one is a constant, so we enter the if section. L1 and L2 are not identical. We go to the next step. L1, that is y, is a variable and L2 is a constant, spot, and not a function of y. So we return the substitution spot for y. We return to the place where this algorithm was called last. That's the first step of the for loop. The returned substitution is again caught in S. This new value replaces the content of S. Now S has spot for y. Next step, S does not contain fail. We move to the next step. S is not equal to nil, so we enter the true section of if. There is no third argument to both the predicates. If there was, we would have searched and made the substitution if necessary. Now we move to the next step, creating a new SUBST as SUBST appended to S. Right now SUBST has John for X. So new SUBST becomes equal to spot for Y, John for X. The counter variable is 2. So the control exits the loop and we return the substitution list SUBST, which has the contents spot for Y and John for X. I hope you have understood the unification algorithm now. Please contact me in case you have any difficulties. Thank you.